Previously on OUA Today.
Scott Hasty, I know. Years playing quarterback for the Marauders.
I did not do that.
I feel like in Canada there's a lot of claiming world's oldest hockey-related things, but this one seems pretty legit. I was in my band, and we opened for a group called Splash and Boots. Play ball!
Koichi and Ryu. Did I say that right?
4! Hits you right in the feels.
Johnny Brahanameska.
Dr. Gino Tahani? Yeah, let's go with that. Kylie Massey reminds me of that time in grade 7 at the Kingston area track and field event when I swept the 50, 100, and 200. This isn't Marauder Radio anymore. That's why I paint the walls of my room black. It's a performance art when I'm just getting dressed.
Sochi, Russia.
Yeah. Play ball! Scott, quick, stand up, turn around towards the camera there if you could, and just show us how many buttons are undone. Don't undo another one.
My mom's gonna watch this.
Now, time for more OUA Today.
Good morning and welcome inside OUA Today. I am your host, Marshall Ferguson. Yesterday, I did a leg workout for the first time since football season ended, and I can't walk. Next to me is Amanda Weldon. Amanda, say hi.
Hello, world.
And beside both of us is Scott Hasty. Scott's...
There's like a little birdie on his mic, though, so it's kind of like he's here.
Scott is with the Birds right now. He is down south. Where he is down south, I don't even know. But just the fact that he's not here in the second week of the show suggests that maybe he's not taking it so seriously.
We don't ask questions about his personal life. We just ask him questions about OUA sports.
Yeah, I just want to know, how much money did Scott make off the first show to be able to afford a vacation?
And why are we here?
And why aren't we
with him?
Being paid like Scott is? Because he's the brains, that's why. We're just the people that talk for fun. But thank you for joining us on OUA Today. Also want to say a special thank you to anyone who reached out on Twitter through the first kind of week as I started kind of the Twitter account last week. At my last check, we're up 65 followers.
And if you're not following us, you can follow us at
OUA Today.
Yeah.
Or just get us, hashtag OUA Today as well if you want to send us a message or anything like that. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com. I know it's an old website, but it still has its uses.
Tell your parents.
Yeah, facebook.com/OUA Today as well. We put out lots of great content from both Twitter and Facebook. Thank you to everybody that reached out. The thing is, we have 65 followers and there's about 9,000 student athletes in the OUA. I think we can do better.
Well,
just an idea.
We should have a prize for those people who are following us now.
Yeah, we'll have a follower contest coming up soon. I want to remind you that OUA Today is brought to you by the home of the original Buffalo Wing and Hump Day Wednesday Anchor Bar, located in downtown Hamilton at Jackson Square. How you can listen, go to tunein.com, search CFMU 93.3, or you can just go to our Twitter. I already sent out the link for you because I'm your friend. Or you can go to cfmu.msumcmaster.ca. If you're not familiar with how McMaster websites work, that's probably really confusing. Just go to our Twitter at OUA Today. You can listen there. As I said before, how to reach out at OUA Today on Twitter, hashtag OUA Today, at Marsh2Fergs, at Weldon Amanda. I actually have your Twitter account correct this time. Woo-hoo. And at Scott1Hasty, who is on vacation, so maybe don't follow him or listen to him because all you're going to get right now is ridiculous pictures of him with a man dressed in a Cupid costume on the beach where he was, because I saw that picture on the weekend and it was amazing.
I can picture him with like a really aggressive farmer stand.
Oh yeah. And he's down there with his brother, I believe, as well, Mike Hasty, who is a Brock University student. So they're traveling down there, which, by the way, are we the only people on campus this morning?
Yes.
I feel like a huge loser.
Well,
walking in, I'm like, there's 3 cars here and 2 of them are from the car share.
Or that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Or we could just run around campus being like, sports, and just like...
Except it's negative 500 out, so maybe stay inside. Oh yeah, true. Just run around inside Student Center and whatnot, spreading the word of the OUA to everyone who's here, which is no one. Coming up over the next about the next 50 minutes, because we ran late because technology does not work sometimes. We will converse about hockey playoffs, Saturday Night Live, which was incredible. Mm-hmm. All things Laurier Golden Hawks with Golden Hawks sports reporter Shelby Blackley at around 9:30. Nordic skiing was a thing that happened over the weekend up at Nipissing. Apparently that was fantastic. Wrestling, the OUA championships went down. Volleyball upsets, hoops jersey rankings, Twitter wars,
Twitter wars.
And we'll start with a shout out to graduating seniors, as we are already a couple minutes into the show, but I want to give a shout out right away to some of the graduating seniors of the OUA, because Amanda and I both know what it's like to be a graduating senior and to have your career end very abruptly, regardless of what sport you're in, what age. There's some teams that made the playoffs. For example, the women's volleyball team here that you have a great experience with, that unfortunately had their season ended short, from their perspective. And then you think about teams, that were more unfortunate through men's and women's basketball season. Some of the men's hockey teams being sent home early, Waterloo losing out, Laurentian losing 2 games at home, and the Queens Gales winning their series. All of these things, you look at and you're like, all right, here we go. Next round of the playoffs, moving on. And then you don't think about, there's graduating seniors that are done playing university athletics.
Fight all preseason, all through season. McMaster University volleyball, women's volleyball, they were 15-3 and now they're done.
Yeah. And what was Western's record? We'll get into this a little bit because we're going to have Kat Sophias.
Kat Sophias.
Yeah, we're going to have her on, who is the setter for Western women's volleyball. We'll talk a bit about that. But Western was 7-12. Did you say to me this morning?
7-11 when they were going into that game. So
7-11 going into their playoff matchup, and they beat McMaster, who had a pretty great record. So, but again,
anything can happen in the OUA.
Yeah, and OUA playoffs, we saw it through all the sports this weekend where, and listen, we're not going to be able to cover everything this morning. We might run the extra 10 minutes so we actually get our full hour in for you because we care about you.
So put us on primetime 2 hours every Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. We'll hopefully move to an evening slot, and then we'll have to change our name to OUA After Dark. No. I was like, what are we going to change it to if we go primetime, if we go nighttime?
We'll talk about this later. We don't have a lot of time. Go, Mark.
Okay,
go.
sorry. We want to get into the starting 5. Oh, first, did you watch Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
Just like the rest of the planet who forgot the NBA All-Star Game was on?
As long as Kristen Wiig is on the TV today, I'm going to be watching.
I watched the NBA All-Star Game, and I'm a huge hoops head. I watched it through the glory that is Vine, because that's all the NBA All-Star Game is. It's not about storylines or guys putting together great games. It's about 5-second highlight reels.
And just the people announcing, we want bigger, getting better. They are just ridiculous.
Yeah, and after the game too, Reggie Miller said that Kyrie Irving, he's like, this is the kind of team player that Kyrie Irving became when he was playing at Kentucky, and it got posted all over Twitter and everyone was like, oh my god, no, Reggie, he went to Duke. He was like the biggest player at Duke for a year or two. Those
are the risks you take when
that's true. When you get on a microphone and try to act like you know everything like us. Let's get into our starting 5 from the weekend, shall we? I think it's about that time. It is, as we said, pretty busy weekend through the OUA, so we'll try to cover it all for you as quickly as we can, and get through everything, give everybody their due, because as I said, it was pretty busy, but it's worth covering it all. Number 1 for me, my starting 5, Johnny B moving up in the record books. Johnny B we had on the show last week, Johnny Brahim Mescal.
Johnny Brahim Mescal.
Thank you, Johnny. He now stands as the league's most prolific guard of all time with 1,931 career points. That was actually going into his Saturday evening matchup. That was just from Friday evening when he moved into third all time. He trails forward Kevin DeLude, who played at RMC when I was a kid. RMC was not very good when I was growing up in Kingston, and Kevin DeLude was the show. He was the reason.
Just always has one of those key players because they have to play sport.
Yeah, but he was Kevin DeLude. When I'm trying to impress upon everyone who didn't get a chance to see him to look up highlight reels or clips or anything. I'm not sure what he went into after being at RMC. I'd love to get him on this show. I'm sure we can down the road, but he was a guy when I was growing up that was just incredible to watch. If
only there was Vine at that time.
Yeah, true. He had 2,092 points, so not out of reach of Johnny, as Johnny is less than 100 points behind. I'm not sure if that's just OUA or if that's CIS career, because if that's CIS career, I don't know how Johnny would not pass Kevin DeLude, because I would think that Ottawa is primed to make a run if they can put together a good last week of the regular season here. So yeah, he moves ahead of him. He actually surpassed Cale Harrison, who was at the 1,918 point mark, and Cale played for Laurier from 2007 to 2012.
I guess that is a running career score then, 2007, 2012.
Yeah, it would have to be. I'm just wondering if it accounts for OUA or CIS, because if it's an OUA scoring record. If you let us know, at OUA Sport. Give us a shout out. Ryerson Rams basketball. No team hotter truly in the country than men's or women's basketball right now. The men won their 13th straight game over the weekend 104-68 over U of T. They'll finish the season at home versus Queens on Friday. And the women won their 9th straight game in a row and 15th of the season. So they set a new program high with 15 wins in the season. I believe they are 15-3 right now with 1 game remaining, also against Queens. Queens is a pretty scrappy team, so they might challenge them, but I saw the McMaster women play against Ryerson, and they have a very, very good team.
Queens has a lot of rivals, like rivalries.
Yeah, it's true. We'll get into their Twitter rivalry a little bit later, and perhaps a team that, when they've been playing hockey against McGill for the last 100 years, that something came up over the weekend that we wanted to touch on. Nordic skiing. I know you're a big Nordic skier.
I am, especially in this weather.
Yeah, and
why would I not be?
Apparently the 3rd day was canceled because of extreme cold temperatures or poor weather up in Nipissing.
I would have been like, nah, give it to me.
No, I'm good. I want it. I like the pain.
Lakehead, when women just killed it.
Yeah.
In the past 10 years, 10 OUA consecutive championships. That's a legacy.
Yeah, we talked last week about, Carleton basketball, Laval football, and then U of T swimming and all of these things. Then Lakehead skiing.
Do you know what the cool thing is? They're not done because their 4 All-Stars are coming back next year.
Really?
Yeah.
Depth.
4 All-Stars.
Depth and
Daphne
youth.
Hegarty, Moira Hegarty, Erin Tribe, and Elena McLean.
Wow.
Gold medal All-Stars.
So it was Lakehead for the women winning the OUA championship. Carleton came 2nd, Nipissing 3rd. And on the men's side, we had the Carleton Ravens. They're not just a basketball school, folks. They also had women's curlers competing at the Winter Universität. And they also won the
silver medal.
Yeah, Lakehead
and
got 1 silver, and Nipissing got 3rd at the OUA championships as well. Our 4th in the starting 5, men's hockey playoffs. There's all sorts of ways we could go with this. A couple of short notes that I have not jotted down here for you. The Lakehead Thunderwolves shock Western in a 2-game sweep, the number 2 ranked Western Mustangs in hockey. Queens Gales win on the road twice versus Laurentian. They take the series 2-1, and that's a pretty good win for Queens. The fact that they had to win 2 games on the road in a 3-game series tells me they also lost the 1 game at home. So home team's 0-3 in that matchup. A lot
of upsets this past weekend.
And it's cool because the OUA, for those that aren't familiar, the OUA playoff structure for hockey is the exact same pretty much as the NHL, right? There's 8 on either side. They're seeded 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 4-5. And they're short turnaround, just like the playoffs. So they're playing some teams back-to-backs if they're close. If not, maybe a day between, but it's fast.
Yeah.
It's up-tempo, and they have to be able to turn around and travel somewhere and play. It's a 3-game series, so it's home away home, right?
Yeah, there's not much time to wash anything in those hockey bags.
Yeah, so it's the first thing you go to, yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'm sure they have great equipment training staff, just like all the OUA teams do. They take care of that for them.
Oh, how do they do it?
They do a great job with all of those teams. Guelph beats Waterloo in a hard-fought game. Was tweeting out last night from the OUA Today Twitter account from Rolly Webster, just saying, obviously upset. It's tough. We wanted to see the Warriors continue to go on. It looked like something I don't, and I believe that this game was at Waterloo that was played last night. The pictures I saw, that's the coolest top of a rink I've seen in a while. The actual top of the rink. I'll pull up the picture for you here in a minute so you can get a quick picture, and we'll throw it up on the video podcast as well. But it was one of the cooler places that I've seen. And it's amazing to me that people in OUA athletics aren't aware of these cool rinks and these cool places to go see.
Which schools have rinks?
Play.
Guelph? Waterloo?
I want to say everyone but McMaster.
Probably Toronto.
Because I've been around here and there's not a whole lot going on with hockey, unfortunately, around here.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the picture for you.
That's
so
what
you get an idea.
Guelph's used to be like this. Like, it looks like an old barn structure.
Yeah, exactly. Like the top being wood and stuff. I thought that was really, really cool. I'm not overly familiar with the OUA hockey circles, but still,
We'll tweet that out for you so you can check that out.
Yeah,
you can catch it at OUA Today.
On the Twitter handle. All right, and Windsor beats Brock. Unfortunately, Do It for Doxie, the campaign that we talked about last week with Jeremy Knight. Brock men's hockey is done for the year. Great group of guys, it sounded like, though, and a solid community over at Brock, but they fall to the Windsor Lancers 2-1 in that series. And also should mention, Western lost their first game. Windsor lost their first game. McGill lost their first game. Western, the only team from those to go on and lose. McGill was able to beat Concordia, and Windsor came back against Brock to win 2 of the next 2 games to seal up the series. So pretty good there. And the last one in our starting 5 here, OUA Wrestling. happened over the weekend.
Brock women, take it.
Yep.
McMaster men, take it.
Yeah, for the men at McMaster, first championship since 1993. They were top 3 in 9 of their 11 weight classes. Women, the Brock Badgers took it again, so Brock, you can't feel too bad about hockey not going overly well over the weekend. But
huge shout out to Jason Buckle, who won OUA's most outstanding male wrestler in the 61 kilogram division.
The entire OUA men's wrestling, and he's
been here for a while.
I've seen that guy doing work around here, and he is one of those, like, you want to talk about a body of work. His actual body is just so beat up over such a long career. Also, I should mention Sarah Forbes at sforbes11 tweeted out a picture at OUA Sport. Some great action here at Laurentian Voyageurs OUA Wrestling Championships. They bend, but they don't break. The picture that she put up
seems bendy.
Oh my god.
It's quite bendy.
Yeah, it's freakish. Like, I looked at it and was like, oh, that has to be Photoshopped. Please.